if you feel like your partner is rejecting you and is not attracted to you anymore, right? And they're like really tries to avoid physical intimacy at all costs. You feel undesired, unloved, unattractive, maybe even ugly, even if your friends tell you you're beautiful, but you feel ugly because he's rejecting you and there's no physical intimacy, no affection. Like there is something missing. It's just you're going um with the motions, like with the daily motions, like roommates, right? But there's no connection and no physical intimacy, especially like I'm talking about this. So this video is for you. I will share one of my clients example who finished last week a 3-month coaching program, and she reversed this situation so well. I'm so happy for her. It's much easier than you think. What the problem is, so most women, they misdiagnose, right, the problem. So they think one thing is a problem and they try to solve that problem, which was not the root cause, which was not the actual problem. So of course they don't get results. They even perpetuate a cycle and make it worse for them, for how they feel. They feel even more unattractive, even more unloved. So there's two like misdiagnosing this lack of affection and physical intimacy and attraction. So number one, women think that it's because they change their appearance, because of their appearance, because they gained some weight, or they gotten older, and there are so many beautiful women on the internet, on Instagram, and on the streets. There's so much beauty and youth, and you're not that anymore. So it must be because of this. And you heard that, well, it's normal. It's not normal, it's ordinary, that we just lose attraction, like the how the years goes by. It's not necessarily like that. Just a small parenthesis, like attraction can be built up, love can grow, attraction can grow. So the number one misdiagnosed is appearance, right? Like that it is your appearance. And how Mila tried to solve this, right? When she told me, I feel so ugly and unattractive and unloved, and I don't know what's happening. I've tried everything. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't think there's a solution out of this. And I think the divorce is only solution. And of course, my heart breaks every time I hear like they're good people. There's no big issues like drug abuse, serial affairs, right? Like it's just a lack of affection and attraction, which can be rebuilt, people. It can be rebuilt, right? Like this is not, it seems like a big problem because people don't know how to solve it, but it's not like it is solvable. As usual, like as I always say, there's a solution for almost anything, right? So what Mila did is going more to the hairdressers, doing more exercise, like physical exercise, so she looks good physically, buying sexy lingerie. And unfortunately, it didn't work, right? Because attraction and confidence are not built from the outside. Yes, those things are important. I'm not saying they're not important. Like I love sexy lingerie and all that, but not using those to get your self-confidence and the attraction between you and your partner, that can be created no matter what. So you don't need to do more things or to do things outside of yourself. It comes from within, of how you see him, how you act with him, how you think about him. These things are nonverbal communication, right? I don't even need to say energy. It's simply energy is nonverbal communication, which, if you know and if you read about it, is like 90% of communication. We communicate something like verbally, that's only 10% of what our body is actually saying, what our eyes are saying. So you can say to somebody, I respect you, but your eyes say like, I have no respect for you. Right? Like, and we feel it. Like we feel it when there's a disconnect between what somebody's saying verbally and what somebody's communicating non-verbally. That is like much more important than what we say with words. So that is the number one misdiagnose what women do, that thinking it's their appearance, and they try to solve for that and it doesn't work. And then they think like, see, like they perpetuate the cycle. See, I'm like, I knew I'm not attractive no matter what I do. Like this is not solvable. Like the only option is divorce, or like I'm having a sexless marriage for life. This is number one misdiagnosed. Number two is that he doesn't love me anymore, right? Because if he would love me, he would want to kiss me and hug me and like spend time with me, give me affection, like just like always grabbing me and take me to the bedroom. So this is a mistake again. So how we try to solve it, and I'm sure I've did it in the past, right? And like most women, what they try to do is doing more things for their husband, trying to please him, trying to be even nicer with him. Um, with the cost of their own well-being, meaning I'm not going to do those things for me, those things that I love and make me feel good because I need to dot 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 cook for my husband, make like some appointments for him, make sure he has the um clean clothes for the gym, like all the small things, like let me take care of him so and please him, because so like he will love me, right? And he will see what a good wife I am and he will love me more. Of course, this makes us feel exhausted, resentful, and not smiling and attractive, right? Like it has the opposite effect, and men don't appreciate it the same way we appreciate it, right? Like we appreciate a lot when somebody does things for us. Like if you can do everything, all my laundry, all the cleaning, all the time, I'm like, yes, thank you so much. I don't need the gifts. Like this is what I need. Most women, right? Um, so they try to solve it like this, and they do the like all these people pleasing behavior, right? Like people pleasing comes from a place of manipulation, trying to get something in return. It doesn't come from a clean, loving place. Like a clean, loving place is I have so much time. I did so much self-care. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, let me do some things for everyone else. This would be like clean, just pure joy. It's doing things for people, even if they wouldn't find out it was you. So that's a pure place. You really give from abundance, right? Like you have so much to give because you already gave yourself too much. Like your cup is so full that you can give to others. But of course, most of us don't do this. Our cup is empty and we try to like to get it filled, like others to love us and to give to us and be nice to us in return. And we try to give even more. Like to get this, we try to give even more, like from an empty cup. Doesn't work like that, right? Again, it backfires. Women feel even more unloved. And then, like, they try to put it on their husband. Well, if it's not me, because I do everything for him, like, I like take care of him. I'm the best wife. I do this. I work. I take care of, like, I take care of everything. And he still doesn't love me. He's so unappreciative. Like, he's horrible. Like, then it's a him problem. And we label him, like, as a bad husband. So as I said, this is misdiagnosed, and we do the things that we would like people to do for us, but men, that's not what they need. Like the dynamic we create, and this is what happened with Mila. So this is what I told her, and this is what we worked on for like 3 months. She took a role of a mother and caretaker. Of course, that is not attractive anymore. Of course, somebody who you treat as like your child, someone who's not capable and admirable and right, like someone who you see as a child and you take care of them and do things for them because you see them as incapable or not doing things perfectly as you would, they see like they feel that mother energy. You're not somebody healthy wouldn't be attracted to a mother role, right? You lose the role of wife or girlfriend or like my dream girl, and you become a mother, a caretaker. Of course that ruins intimacy, especially physical intimacy, right? Of course men don't want to chase that kind of woman. They just say, okay, thank you. Like they appreciate because like it saves them the energy of them doing those things, but they don't feel attracted to somebody who took on the role of a mother. I'm sorry to say it like in your face, but this is what happens in a lot of marriages, and most of the time, so this was Mila's case, and most of the times, I don't know your special situation. I can say like most of the times, 90% of the times, this is the problem. The woman doesn't see the man as capable. He She sees him as a child, and she's like the one who's smarter, better, and knows how to do like everything better than him. So just takes care of everything. And she's exhausted, of course, not smiling anymore. Like even if you go to the gym, but you feel exhausted and bad, like in your body, not happy, exhausted, tired, right? Of course, you feel like that if you take on everything. And I know, like, I've done this too, right? Like, your face is tense. We see when people are tense, like we see them, if you see it on their face, they don't need to say anything. Your face is tense, it's not attractive, not in the sense that, oh, you always have to be smiling and like loving. No, it's not attractive in the sense that it's repulsive. It makes people scared, right? Like, this is not good. She will either start a fight or pin something on me, or just like, this is not good. Like, I'm scared of this, right? Like, it's an unconscious message. People don't want to be around other people who are tensed and like easily triggered, easily bothered, right? So of course this is not attractive anymore. It doesn't mean your husband doesn't love you anymore, or he wouldn't want to. He just wants to see the happy you, right? And you might say, yes, well, if you would make me happy, then I would be happy and smiling. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So happy marriages are made with two happy people. And a happy husband is like, he's easily happy if his wife is happy. So yes, like, your happiness is in your hands, right? It like it doesn't depend on your husband. It doesn't depend on anything else. You have to make yourself happy so you are your best self. Like, it's really the simple, basic thing of taking care of yourself. Some call it self-love, like some call it self-care. It's not about going to the gym if you don't like to go to the gym. It's about being like your true self, your rested self. It's the same way like when we are ourselves, like when we ate instead of when being super, super hungry. When we're super hungry, like we're the worst side of us. What, like, oh, it's almost primal, like the worst side of us. You have to take care of yourself the same way as you eat, right? So you're not hungry the same way. Like, take care of yourself emotionally, to like mentally, emotionally, to make sure like you are not even your best self, but at least a rested self who can act deliberately and intentionally, not react and like always be tensed and triggered and like on the spot, like on the verge of like tipping point to start screaming and yelling. So that is not self-care, and that is not being an adult. This was a hard lesson for me. Like, this is not being an adult. Like, if you're easily triggered and like on the like, tip verge of screaming all the time, it means you're not taking care of yourself. Like, as an adult, the number one responsibility is taking care of myself and like how I show up in the world, right? Like, otherwise I go crazy and I start slapping people on the streets, like if you exaggerate it. So your number one responsibility as an adult is taking care of yourself. Okay, I sidetracked too much. So how to resolve this is, and how we resolved it with Mila. Stop managing every aspect of his life. Clothes, what he eats, routines, making sure he went to the gym and to the doctor because he's coughing. For him to stop being his mother, start seeing him as a capable adult. And what we did with Mila, it was so beautiful. Like step by step, each week for 3 months, he made a difference between what is her responsibility, what is his responsibility. It sounds so basic, but nobody does it. Like, we put our hands and noses like in other people's affair all the time, and we try to control them because we know better for them, right? So really like making a big list. What is my responsibility? What is his responsibility, right? Like, what is like he starts seeing him as a capable adult. He's capable of doing a lot of things, but you don't let him. So stop managing every aspect, start seeing him as a capable adult, then expressing what you want and letting him do more things for you. This is a pleasure from like, if he can do things for you and you are happy and you see him as capable, then like he will want to do more things for you. And for him, it's not exhausting. I always say this, like for men, it's not exhausting if they are appreciated. For us, it is exhausting and we go crazy and like our emotional state just goes down, right? Most of the times when we do things for people, because we do it again from an empty cup, not from a full cup. So stop doing all those things that you do for your husband that you think are things because you're helpful, because you're a good wife, because you know better, because you just know better, and like you cannot. Like start making the space, like giving him some responsibilities, some things to do, some just make the space. If again, if the space is occupied, somebody is taking care of everything, then nobody can fill in that position. Like create a vacuum, a void of things that like you don't do anymore because they're not for your responsibility. Let him do some things. Let him do some things for you. Ask for help. Ask for his opinion. Like I always say this, right? Like ask for help, ask for his opinion. And then what we build, like this is the first 2 weeks, like we focused on this. In parallel, we started focusing on her well-being, her self-care, right? And this is how you rebuild connection. This was part 2 of the plan. So part 1 was like relinquishing control of everything that she was doing, and it wasn't her responsibility. And part 2 was rebuilding attraction. And one way you can rebuild this, like, is taking care of yourself and just being your best self or smiling self or rested self. Like this already goes a long way, right? Nobody is in that state anymore. We're in a world like everything is like always changing and moving, and we're so busy like running from one thing to the other. But in the end of the day, we still feel like in this hamster wheel. It happens to me too. Even if I like make sure like I'm present and everything, it still feels sometimes that I'm just like moving from one thing to the other like a robot. Right? So rebuilding attraction with self-care, seeing he's a capable adult, um, just changing the dynamic of a caretaker and a child, right? Like just being more of a partner, more of a wife. And I even gave this strategy that I use with many women. It's almost like not seeing him as a husband anymore, seeing him like your boyfriend, girlfriend, right? And what would you do then? Like you would do a lot less, right? You would act differently. The dynamic would be another, like you wouldn't put a lot of expectation. And ironically, when you don't put a lot of expectation on the other person and you just express your desires and your problems and you ask for help, those things get done, like all the things that you expected. But if you like put expectations and then you're upset and frustrated and you're fighting about it, like it just ruins intimacy on all levels, emotional, physical, all the ways. So focusing on her, and she even like she said one time, like I taught her like how to be vulnerable and show her vulnerability, and she told her husband that, you know what, like we had that like a lot of months that we didn't have sex, and I felt very ugly and unlovable, and I thought you don't love me anymore and you're not attracted to me anymore. And he said, like, of course I love you. How could you ever think I don't love you? Of course I love you. Of course I'm attracted. Like you're the most beautiful woman. And she was blown away when she heard this. She was blown away because this is like the two things that she thought are the problem, that he doesn't love her and he doesn't think she's attractive. No matter how attractive you are, the most beautiful women in the world, I don't want to give examples, but I can easily say Jennifer Lopez, like she's the most beautiful woman, like at her age, like looking like that. Oh my God, she's so beautiful, but she's so masculine, so repelling. I didn't want to be negative and say this, like, and predict her divorce from Ben Affleck because everyone was seeing them like, oh my God, they're back together, so beautiful. But she had a contract, like asking him how many times a week she wants sex. And it's like she was very controlling. She was very controlling of all the relationship, putting a lot of expectations, demands. It was coming from a controlling and insecure place and unconfident, right? Like asking directly and expecting instead of like leaning back and like expressing desires or problems. I always say it's like express a desire or problems, lean back and see your husband as a capable adult, not that like you are the mother and he's a child, right? The more we see this, the more we transform the relationship into a mother-child relationship or caretaker-child relationship. So most probably, I will tell you your husband loves you and he thinks you're attractive, even if your appearance changed. How you see him, how you behave with him change. If you see him as incapable, like this is what ruins intimacy. Like the big three that I always give women: appreciate, admire, respect. Find all the reasons possible to appreciate him, to admire him, to respect him, because this is what builds attraction. This is what builds attraction. It's not the sexy lingerie. Admire him like he's the best man in the world. Respect him. Find reasons for like which you respect him. Appreciate things he does. The more you appreciate, the more he does. I promise you. So this is how Mila solved it. And the vulnerability part, it was only after a month or so, right after doing these skills, and she was just blown away. Like she couldn't believe, because she was focusing a lot on what she thought is the problem, not on what the actual problem was. So you need someone to diagnose you, like it happened for me, like with the throat doctor who told me, you know what, like I tried all the things to fix my throat, and he told me, you know what, like you have nothing in your throat, there's no infection, it's a stomach problem. What? Was so blown away. So you have first to get a diagnose. I do this. I offer 30-minute free sessions, strategy sessions to diagnose and give a strategy step by step what to do in your situation. I can only speak generally since I speak on YouTube here. If I speak personally to you, I know if this is the case or it's something else. Most of the times it's this. So you can start like doing the big three: appreciate, admire, respect, like trying to find all the reasons, and like you will see miracles happen. I'm positive even from day one. So if you do this even from day one, it doesn't take 3 months to see results, right? It takes more, and I offer 3-month packages of one-on-one coaching. It takes time to make the changes permanent, right? Like it takes time to solve like every little problem. Sometimes like old problems come up, sometimes old like thought patterns, old dynamics, like to make sure you make the changes permanent depending on how bad the situation is. Sometimes I recommend 6 months, but usually 3 months is enough for a situation like this, when there's no addictions and serial affair, like when there's no huge things, like 3 months can be enough. But the results are seen from the first few days, from a week. Like if you do what I say, like don't overthink it. This is what I do when I have coaches too. Like I don't want to do some things, but if they told me like you do this, okay, I'll do it. I'm just coachable. So if you want to resolve something, like find somebody who can give you a good diagnose, a specialist, right? That's why we go to doctors too. Find a specialist who can give you a good diagnose, a good solution, right? Like the right solution for the right problem, and just apply it. Even if it feels like, oh, I don't know. Like, yes, you do it and you get the results. And then you can choose, you know what? I choose not to do this anymore. You can do that, but at least get the results and see that, oh my God, I can get the results if I want to. But you know what? I don't want to appreciate my husband. Who doesn't want to appreciate their husband? It feels so good to appreciate somebody, but let's say somebody says it like that. Okay, just do it, even if it feels hard. It's not, you're not used to it, right? We're not used to this. We're used to seeing all the things that are not going well, unfortunately. Right? Just like apply this and like see miracles happen. You can tell me in private then. Like I won't comment on YouTube, probably telling me that you've revived your sex life, but please, like you can find me on Facebook, or even here, I think you can send a private message, I don't know, and tell me how it went. Bye bye.